All right, let's dive in. Today we were looking at Thai entertainment, specifically the fandom that surrounds the actors Sky and Nani. You've probably seen them in the show. High School Frenemies.
Oh, yeah. High School Frenemies, or HSF, as some people call it.
Yeah,
It sparked a lot of interesting discussion online.
for sure.
On the surface, it seems like just a bromance,
Yeah.
like a really intense friendship, maybe with some romantic undertones. But some fans are questioning if HSF is actually queerbaiting, especially since it's produced by GMMTV, which is really well known for its boys' love dramas.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, and that's actually where source material comes in.
Well,
We found this really interesting thread on Reddit on the RGMMTV subreddit called SkyNani fans and their reluctancy to be associated with BL. And we thought it would be really fascinating to kind of dig into this a little bit and see, what fans are saying about the show and about the stars.
absolutely. I think it's really interesting to look at
Yeah.
the way that people are interpreting and reacting to the show.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we get into all of that, can you maybe give us just a really quick rundown of what HSF is
Yeah.
and why it's causing this kind of debate?
Yeah, so HSF is actually a remake
Okay.
of a Korean drama called School 2013. And School 2013 was already known for its really strong bromance elements.
Right.
But a lot of people are saying that HSF really amplified that.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Yeah. It definitely seems like they took it to another level.
Yeah, and that's actually what led to the SkyNani ship.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just a case of fans imagining chemistry that isn't there.
Right.
It seems like the source material itself is kind of playing with those romantic tropes.
Exactly. And, that's what makes this whole queer baiting debate even more complicated.
Okay.
Because for a lot of fans, it feels like the show's capitalizing on the popularity of BL without actually committing to the representation that often comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is fairly interesting in Thailand, where same-sex marriage is actually legal. And GMMTV is known for producing a lot of BL content, so it feels a little bit contradictory for some people.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of having their cake and eating it too.
Exactly.
So let's break down this queer baiting argument a little bit more.
Okay.
What are some of the specific points that people are raising in this Reddit thread?
Well, some users are pointing to specific scenes in the show or marketing materials that they think seem to be hinting at a romantic relationship
Oh, interesting.
between Sky and Nani.
Okay.
And they feel like the show is using very similar tropes and even visuals
Yeah.
to BL dramas. So it's drawing in viewers who are specifically looking for that kind of representation.
Mm-hmm.
But then it stops short of actually depicting a romantic relationship.
So it's like they're dangling this possibility in front of the audience,
Yeah.
but never delivering.
That's how a lot of fans are feeling.
Got it.
It's almost cynical,
Yeah.
to take advantage of the popularity of BL without actually taking the risk of alienating a wider audience.
Mm-hmm. But not everyone in the thread agrees with that, right?
Of course not.
What are some of the counter arguments that are being presented?
Yeah, there are definitely fans who are really fiercely defending the show.
Okay.
And their main argument is that HSF never explicitly marketed itself as BL.
Yeah.
And they also point out that bromance is a valid genre
Right.
in its own right, and they don't feel like the comparisons to BL are actually warranted or fair.
So it's almost like
Yeah.
a matter of interpretation.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're saying the show is just a well-executed bromance,
Right.
and viewers are maybe projecting their own desires for BL onto it.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting.
Nice.
Because even if we accept that the show isn't intentionally queer baiting, there's still this tension within the fandom about wanting to associate Sky and Nani with BL, even when you can tell that a lot of them are enjoying that romantic subtext.
That's right. And that's where we see this idea
Yeah.
that Sky and Nani didn't need to stoop to BL to be famous.
Wait, stoop to BL?
Yeah.
That sounds a little problematic.
It's definitely raising some red flags
Yeah.
because it implies that participating in BL is somehow lesser than other genres, which reveals this kind of hidden bias against BL that seems to be pretty prevalent even among some fans.
Yeah, so it's like some fans are enjoying the elements that often draw viewers to BL dramas,
Right.
but then they're rejecting the label itself.
That's exactly it. It's like they're craving that romantic tension and the emotional depth that BL dramas are often known for.
Right.
But they don't want to place HSF or Sky and Nani in that category.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
It really is.
I think it really reveals a lot about fan culture and how it intersects with broader societal views about representation.
Exactly.
Even in a place like Thailand where BL is popular and pretty widely accepted, there still seems to be this underlying stigma attached to the genre.
Definitely something we need to think more about.
Yeah, for sure. So let's maybe shift gears a little bit and focus on the fans themselves. What are the different opinions within the SkyNani fandom?
Yeah.
Do we see any dominant opinions emerging, or is it more divided?
Well, I think the Reddit thread gives us a good glimpse into that.
Okay.
That diversity of thought.
All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, so, some fans are totally fine with just the bromance. Like, they're happy enjoying the subtext and the chemistry without needing it to be explicitly labeled as BL.
Right.
They see the value in HSF as it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, not every show with a strong bond between two male characters needs to be a romance.
Exactly.
But what about those fans who are kind of actively hoping to see Sky and Nani star in a BL series together?
Right.
How are they navigating this whole tension between those two things?
Yeah, so there are definitely fans who are very vocal about wanting to see them in a BL series together.
Okay.
They feel like the chemistry is undeniable
Mm-hmm.
and that it would translate really well into a romantic storyline.
Yeah.
And, they point to the success of other BL pairings from GMMTV and believe that Sky and Nani could achieve a similar level of success.
Okay, but it's interesting, though, that even within those fans who are wanting a BL series, there's still this sense of caution.
Right.
They're aware of the potential pitfalls.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where I think the Reddit thread gets really insightful.
Okay.
Because some of them are drawing parallels to other popular BL pairings who have unfortunately experienced real-life fallout or discomfort because of how intensely they were shipped by fans.
Right. It's a good reminder that actors are real people.
Yeah.
Not just characters that we can, ship and manipulate however we want.
Exactly. And you can see that some fans in the thread are really conscious of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're worried that pushing too hard for a BL series might actually damage Sky and Nani's friendship in real life.
Right.
Or lead to unwanted fan service that could make them uncomfortable.
And that actually brings up another point that was brought up in the thread, too, which is the discomfort that some fans feel when they see their favorite actors being shipped with other people.
Oh, yeah?
There was some negativity toward Sky and Nani's co-stars, particularly female co-stars who are perceived as potential romantic rivals, even if it's just in the context of the show.
Yeah, this is something that happens a lot in fandom culture.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's this possessiveness over the pairing that leads to negativity towards anyone who's seen as a threat.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we as fans, need to be mindful of the impact that our words and actions have. Supporting a ship shouldn't come at the expense of disrespecting the actors or their personal lives.
Right. And I think this ties back to that stooping to BL comment.
Yeah.
Because it reveals a deeper issue, this idea that BL is somehow less prestigious or less legitimate than other genres.
It's there's this hierarchy within the entertainment industry, and BL is at the bottom.
Exactly. But why does that stigma still exist?
Yeah.
Especially when BL dramas are so successful and have really contributed to Thai entertainment's global reach.
Right. It's they're popular, but they're still seen by some as something to be avoided. Something that might taint an actor's career.
Yeah, it's this frustrating paradox.
Yeah.
Because these dramas often deal with really universal themes, love and heartbreak, friendship, family. They explore complex characters and relationships, just like any other good show. But then they get dismissed or looked down upon just because of the gender of the characters involved.
It's a double standard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Romantic comedies and dramas with straight couples are totally fine.
Right.
They're considered mainstream. But BL is seen as something separate, something lesser.
Yeah, and this is where fan voices are so important.
Absolutely.
By challenging this stigma and celebrating BL for the diverse and engaging genre that it is, we can create a more inclusive and accepting media landscape.
I agree.
So how can we as fans navigate these complexities?
That's a great question.
How do we support the actors and shows that we love without perpetuating those harmful stereotypes or, contributing to a toxic fandom environment?
I think it starts by recognizing that our role as fans is to support and appreciate, not to control or dictate.
Yeah.
We can express our preferences, engage in discussions, even, critique things we don't like.
Right.
But ultimately, the creative decisions belong to the actors and the production team.
We need to remember that actors are not extensions of their characters.
Right.
They have their own lives.
Exactly.
Their own beliefs, their own desires.
Yeah. And just because we enjoy seeing them play certain roles or relationships on screen doesn't mean we have the right to demand specific outcomes or pressure them into doing things that might make them uncomfortable.
I think this whole conversation has been super insightful.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
You know, exploring the SkyNani fandom and their relationship with the BL genre. But I'm wondering, where do we go from here?
Right.
What can we learn from this specific example, and how can we apply it to fandom culture more broadly?
I think the key takeaway here is balance. Finding that balance is so important, especially now with social media where fans have such a strong voice.
Yeah, it's true. We can celebrate the things that we love. We can engage in discussions. We can even critique things that we don't like.
Right.
But we also have to respect those boundaries between what we want as fans and, the reality of these actors' lives and careers.
Absolutely. And this case study with the SkyNani fandom, I think it really shows how fan culture is connected to these bigger societal issues like representation and acceptance of LGBTQ stories.
Right.
And it's a good reminder that what we do as fans, even as individuals, can have a much wider impact.
For sure. So zooming out a bit, what does all of this tell us about how the relationship between fans and creators is changing, especially with social media?
Social media has definitely made things more complicated.
Okay.
I mean, it's given fans this incredible access to creators. They can share their opinions. They can even organize and demand certain things from creators.
Yeah, and we've actually seen fan campaigns lead to positive change, like
Right.
pushing for better representation or holding creators accountable.
Exactly.
But there's a flip side to that too, right?
Right.
It's like all that power can be misused, and it can lead to unrealistic expectations and pressure on actors.
Yeah.
And even negativity towards people who don't fit into these narratives that fans have created.
Exactly. And that's where that balance comes in again. Fandom should be about celebrating creativity and having thoughtful discussions and supporting the artists that we admire.
Right.
It shouldn't be about trying to control them or telling them what to do in their personal lives.
It all goes back to remembering that actors are not just, vessels for our fantasies. They're real people.
Exactly.
They have their own agency, and we have to appreciate their work, within that context.
Absolutely.
One thing that I found kind of encouraging about this Reddit thread, though, is that you see a lot of fans actually acknowledging those boundaries.
Right.
There is a sense of awareness about the fact that if they push too hard or if they let this shipping cross the line into harassment, it can have negative consequences.
That is encouraging.
Yeah, it shows that there's a growing understanding within fandom culture that we need to be respectful and responsible, even when we're really passionate about something.
I think that's something we can all learn from, no matter what fandom we're part of.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance, where we can express our love for something without overstepping those boundaries.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one thing that you hope our listeners will take away from this conversation?
I think the most important thing is that your engagement matters. Your voice has power. Use it wisely, use it respectfully, and use it to create a fandom culture that's inclusive and supportive.
That's great. I love that. So we covered a lot today.
Yeah, we did.
We talk about the SkyNani fandom, the lines between different genres, and all the complexities of fan culture in the age of social media.
It's complicated.
Yeah. So hopefully this has given you, our listeners, something to think about.
These are ongoing conversations. We're all figuring this out together.
For sure.
And the more we talk about it and think about it, the better we can make the fandom experience, something that's both joyful and respectful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive
It was my pleasure.
into the world of Thai entertainment and fandom. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going.